What sets you apart from your competitors? Do you truly understand what your USP is? You might remember that in our last Tea Time tip that we did a couple of weeks ago, I talked about setting up your marketing plan. I gave you the basics for having a marketing plan. And one of these items was to determine your brand positioning. And this is often overlooked when we're creating a business. You know, there's so much that needs to be done, and having some thought about creating that brand positioning often gets put by the wayside. But what I wanted to do is make it a forefront for you, because it is so super important. So today we're going to dive deeper into determining your brand positioning and why it's so important to do so. Brand positioning can make or break your business, and so don't miss this episode. And if you know of anybody who would really benefit from what I'm going to talk about today, I would love it if you hit the like button and shared this broadcast to your social media followers and let them know what we're going to be talking about. That would be awesome. My name is Susan Friesen, and I am the founder of eVision Media. And we are an all under full service, under one umbrella roof, web development, digital marketing, and brand positioning firm up in Canada. I need to memorize that a bit better, don't I, right? First of all, actually, I'm going to quickly ask you a question. What is your business? I would love to know who I'm talking to, you know, who is in my audience today. And even if you're watching the replay, what kind of business do you have? Type it in there, because I really want to know. And I also want to help showcase you, right? So by typing in what your business is, then other people know what you do too. So it's win-win, right? Building a strong brand should be a priority in your business. It really is something that will make or break the success of your business. Whether you realize it or not, you might already have a strong brand position and you don't even realize it, that this is what you ended up creating, instinctively. But for those of you who have not, given it much thought, let's make sure that we work on that. Catherine, Feng Shui for Business. Yes, Catherine, I interviewed Catherine. So go to our blog and you can see one of the blog posts that we did, an interview about how you can use Feng Shui for your business. And Daniel, hi Daniel. Daniel is part of my team. He's my cohort in eVision Media. He does all the SEO and Facebook ads and Google ads, things like that. And so couldn't do this without him. When we talk about brand positioning, brands that are consistently is the big key here, represented, see an average of about 23% in revenues increases. So this is why it should be such a priority for you, right? You know, the strong brands that, when I say consistently, I mean you're consistently on message, you're consistently talking about your values, which I'm going to talk about in a second, and also the look and feel of your brand, the essence of it. And I'm going to talk more about that too. But at the end of the day, it increases loyalty. It improves the perception of your brand. It has an overall improved perception of your business. And it also helps you be identified as reliable and authentic and engaging and memorable. Big corporate example would be the Nike swoosh. Immediately, you know it's memorable. You know that it's a trusted brand. You know what it's all about. The golden arches, all of those kinds of things are, these big corporations, I've spent gazillions of dollars developing that brand so that you have a positive brand perception of them. And so obviously we don't have millions of dollars to spend on our brand positioning, but the least we can do is what I'm going to talk about today in helping you get going and get get your business going, either if you're just starting out or if you have been in business for a while and things have shifted or things just aren't going well for you. You feel like you're going over hurdles and hurdles all the time. So this is definitely for you today as well. A new look at your brand positioning might be what's needed. The brand positioning is the process of positioning your brand in the mind of your customers. And so it's important to know that it's not all what's going on in your head and you making assumptions that everybody else knows what you're all about. The positioning part is making sure that everybody else understands what you are all about. Hopefully that makes sense. So it's more than just a tagline or a fancy logo. There's much more thought and process and strategy that goes behind the positioning. What it is the strategy that is used to set your business apart from the rest, from all of your competitors out there. It's how your business is perceived by your customers and your potential customers, right? So I want to ask you, what impression do you want your customers or your potential customers to have about you and your business? That should be foremost in your mind. Think about that. What impression do you want people to have about you? What do you want them to say about you after they have, communicated with you, engaged with you in some respect? And what do they say about you after they have walked away and you're not hearing? What are they saying about you behind your back, which is hopefully really positive stuff, right? Yeah. So it involves, a deep dive into the details of your business, really truly understanding what is it that you are about, your why did you create this business to begin with, what's your purpose, and all that stuff. What the next part is that you have to discover what it is that makes you different from the competitors, because we're in a world where competition absolutely is there. The first step in creating your brand positioning is determining the current brand positioning that you have in place. So unless you haven't even begun your business yet, if you're still in that phase of figuring out what it is that you want to do and getting everything created, then think about it in terms of, what do I want my brand positioning to be? But for those of you and us who have been in business for a while, this is the time to do this reprocessing of what your brand positioning is. And just a quick insight, I think I've mentioned this before, but here at eVision Media, we're in the process of giving our brand a refresh. We've gone through the logo refresh process, and I've hinted at it a few times in some of our things, and you'll see the big reveal shortly. And also we are updating our website. Our website is practically 5 years old, which is ancient in technology years, and so we are getting very close to finalizing the look and feel of that website, and then we'll be launching it once it gets built. But through that process, I didn't just jump in and go, okay, we need a new website, and just randomly figured out what it should look like. Instead, I went back and I did this. I went back to the drawing board and I revisited our brand positioning and tweaked it and decided, okay, do we need to make any changes to what we currently have? So that's what I want you to do, is take a look at what you're doing now currently in your business and think in terms of what kind of marketing materials are you using? Are there any inconsistencies in your messaging into the look and feel? Like, are you just randomly throwing up pictures on social media that you enjoy, or are you strategically thinking about, is this on brand? And just kind of make some notes about what it is that you're currently doing, and think in terms also as you're noting what you're doing for your brand positioning, for your marketing. Our brand positioning has to come through in our marketing efforts, and so think in terms of what you are doing in comparison to your competitors as well. Like, are you trying to emulate your competitors? You're seeing that somebody else is doing something very successfully, so you're probably trying to copycat or, trying to do what they're doing because you see that they're being successful at it? Or, are you noting your distinctions between them? And I'm going to get more into the competitor analysis in a second, but, just stuff to think about. The other thing that I talked about a couple of weeks about our marketing plan is fully understanding who your ideal target market is. And so that is a part of this step one, is to do that full analysis of who your target audience is. Who is it that you want to do business with the most? And then you also want to revisit or take a look at or define your mission statement, your value statement, and your value proposition. All of these things make up the essence of your brand. Again, your brand is not just a tagline or a logo. It's the essence. It's the humanness part of your business, and it's very important that you make that really clear in your mind. Because if it isn't clear in your mind, then it's definitely not going to be clear in your customers' minds or your potential customers' minds. So through all of that, you're going to start to understand and develop your brand voice, the persona. Remember, I said the humanness of your brand. So this is what we want to capture. We want to understand what the persona is of your brand. What voice is it going to be? And then from there, you determine if any changes need to be made. Like if you are already a seasoned business owner, then you want to kind of take a snapshot of what's happening right now, and do any changes need to happen from here. Like, are you happy with how things are going, or are you feeling like, no, we need to adjust, we need to tweak, we need to dive deeper and get more into that value statement. And at the end of the day, you need to ask yourself, are you giving the right impression to the right people through your all of the work that you're doing as far as marketing your business? So that's step one, is kind of doing a situation analysis of what's happening in your business. Okay, so let's move on to step two, which is determining your competition. Now, this is really important to understand fully what I'm talking about when I describe competition. First of all, in any kind of business that you're in, you need to know what you're up against, right? You do have to do some kind of an analysis to fully understand what other choices are out there that my ideal client has when they're trying to determine who they should work with. And trust me, it doesn't matter how unique of your methodology is. It's more about they've got a problem and they're looking for a solution. I mean, that's one scenario, right? They have a need and they're looking for something to fulfill that need. Now, your technique, like say you're a coach. Let's use Catherine as an example. She uses Feng Shui. That's her technique to help bring balance and harmony for the business setting in an office. Now, the reason why somebody would want that is that they're struggling. Money isn't flowing in and out as easily as it could be. Challenges are coming up. There's multiple reasons why somebody would want to, come up with an answer to their problem. But Feng Shui may not be what is the first thing that they think of. They might go to a business coach. They might just go down to the local Staples office thinking that they need ergonomics in their, for their chair and their computer and stuff like that. So think outside the box. Like if you're a weight loss coach, that would be a good example too. Somebody knows that they need to lose weight. They're feeling unhealthy, but they wouldn't immediately think about going to a weight loss coach. They might go to their local weight loss clinic. They might sign up for a gym membership. They might go to their doctor. They might go to a local clinic. So they have choices. All of those things are competitors, not just other weight loss coaches. Okay, so step two, determining your competition, research, and that will help define your marketing strategy. So as soon as you understand what kind of competition you're up against, then you know how to define your marketing strategy so that people will choose you over them, right? And so do your research on Google, type in what your target market would be typing in. Use health coach for an example, like I want to lose weight instead of I'm looking for a health coach. right? So type in what they might be typing in, and then see what the kind of results come up, see what choices they are being offered. You can survey current customers and ask them, who else did they consider before hiring you? That would be a great way to find out what your other competition is, what the other competitors are. Use social media, ask polls, ask leading questions on your social media pages. Find out, take the pulse of the followers that are following you on social media. You can go to forums, search through forums, and find niche like Quora or Reddit even are great places to go and narrow down into your niche and see what's being asked and what kind of solutions are being provided by whom. And then even ask, if you have a sales staff, ask your sales staff or your own immediate employees for their feedback. What are they noticing in the industry? What kind of feedback are they hearing from the customers and clients that they're dealing with? So that's step 2. Step 3 is conducting your competitor research. So the first one is just finding out what that competitive landscape is, and now we want to actually conduct that research. We want to analyze those competitors. What kind of brand positioning are they using? Check out their website, check out their social media. What kind of marketing message are they working on? What are they doing? And then while you're checking all of this out, you want to kind of observe and take notes on what kind of product and services that they're offering. Like I said, if somebody wants to lose weight, a health coach or a nutritionist is not the only choice that they have, right? So make note of these choices. What product or service are they offering? What kind of tagline do they have? What kind of position statement are they using? From your perspective, what are their strengths and weaknesses? What are they, from what you can see, what are they really doing right? And where are they kind of falling down? Where is that weakness that you can pinpoint? And check out what their successful marketing strategies are. Now, do be careful though with that. Is that a marketing strategy doesn't necessarily mean it's successful. And so don't make any assumptions that what they are doing is actually working. Okay. But do take a look and see if there's anything there that you think that would really work for you. Daniel says, definitely ask and not get married to your own plan. Be able to adjust and a change. Yes, for sure. Very good advice. Yeah. And then Denise says, yes, Daniel Simmons, we get so locked down in our own visions, don't we? And that's where, I work with a lot of entrepreneurs and small business owners, when they are struggling with this kind of a brand positioning, because sometimes you do need that third party perspective, that other person to help you walk through this process, because otherwise we can be very blinded with our own vision, and we think that what we know is right, and or the opposite to that is we're getting way too much feedback from way too many people, and we're just overwhelmed and confused with way too much information. So if you're interested in working with me, I do mentor clients to help out with that kind of thing, to help you with your brand positioning so that it can be a much easier and streamlined and process where you're actually getting some results at the end of it instead of just spinning your wheels. Oh, and Catherine just mentioned, good point, look around a bit with another set of eyes. Yeah. Catherine and I have worked together for many years, and so she knows what that's all about. And then also take a look and see, okay, how are they actually positioned in the marketplace? Because competition is not a bad thing. There's lots of room for everybody. And so what one health coach might do, say, let's keep using health coach. So say one health coach is all about the ketogenic diet, the ketogenic lifestyle. That is their claim to fame. That's how they're positioning themselves as an expert in the industry. But not everybody is, the ketogenic program is not ideal for everybody, right? They might be a vegan, they might be a vegetarian, they might have a different body type that would respond better to a different kind of an eating program. That's fine for those people, but maybe, you would be able to be better suited suited in being a niche in a different area of focus that is better for these people, and both work well to, as a choice, as an option. So, okay, so that's step 3, is just really analyzing that competition and understanding what their strengths and weaknesses are, how are they positioning, what are they doing, and just really, dive in at whether they are a direct competitor or not. All right. And then step 4 is identifying what makes you unique. And this is the key. This is the crunch of it all. This is the reason why we need to do this kind of an analysis. It's to help you position yourself so that you will be the one that people will choose over those other competitors. And the only way that you can do that is to elevate your strengths and play off of your competitors' weaknesses. Think in terms of what are your strengths that you want to play off of, and what are the weaknesses that you can capitalize on from your competitors and showcase, okay, well, yeah, I can do this differently because these are the kind of results that I get with my clients. And so you basically want to write down a list, compare your list with your business. So compare all of this list of all of these competitors, and literally every line. Okay, how can you differentiate yourself from these guys? What makes you more unique, get better results, all those kinds of things? What makes you more effective? What gives you a step up from what they're offering? And of course, again, those weaknesses, analyze their weaknesses and how can you offset that with your strengths. And at the end of the day, what you want to do is what do you do or offer that is better than your competitors? And it's not to say that you're going to trash them, but you're going to pinpoint the stuff that their weaknesses are at, and that's what you're going to focus on. That's what you're going to kind of bolster up. That's what makes you different and unique. And oftentimes, especially in the service industry, well, pretty much always in the service industry, is that it's going to be a lot of your personality. What do you bring to the table? What experiences do you have? What kind of training and unique training do you have? All of that is part of that too, right? Because nobody's the same as you. There's no other Catherines out there. There's no other Susan Friesens out there, So I'm unique in that I bring 20 years of my marketing and website access, acumen, if I can say the word, to the table. I bring 20 years of experience to my clients in marketing and website and stuff. And so that's unique to me. All right, so that is step 4. Step 5 is creating your brand position statement. And I did mention this the last time too about the importance of creating a brand's position statement, and it's super important. But with all of this analysis that you've done, now you have a really clear idea of the messaging, of what it is that you're all about. What's your why? What's your purpose? What's your value? What can you bring to the table that your competitors can't? And so we want to culminate all of that into a position statement. And so it's really just a 2 or 3 statement that declares and communicates your business's unique brand and the value that it brings in relation to your competitors. And so you want to answer the questions: who is it that you serve? What product or service category does that fall in? Like, are you in the health industry? Are you in the Feng Shui industry? The business building industry, whatever it is, web development industry. And then what is the greatest benefit that you bring your clients? What is the best benefit that you can showcase for your clients in relation to what it is that you offer? And then it's best also to provide some kind of proof, stats proof, or, showcase the benefits, the results, the end game. What is it that people are going to experience after they have worked with you or used your product if you have a product? So think in terms of that. That's what your position statement is. And again, that's what I work with my mentoring clients too, is all of the work that we do, all the analysis that we do culminates into this position statement. And that position statement ends up being used on social media and, in any kind of bios and author bios and things like that. So it's used a lot. So then the 6th and final step to creating and defining your brand position is to implement I know you got to do something with all of this, right? You've got all of this analysis done, all of this research done, and you've got your position statement, but now it needs to be set out and, like Catherine said, shine to the world. And so you take all of this insight and you use it, you implement it into all of your marketing efforts. So that means it might mean updating your logo. If that needs to happen, we did a slight update to our logo. And if anybody is following me on my page for quite some time, a few months ago, I was showing some, some proofs, some samples of, how we wanted to just kind of refine it. We're not completely changing it, but we wanted to refine it. And one of the main reasons why I felt the need that we needed to refine our logo is that sometimes, and even Catherine is one of these people, they didn't see the emperor penguin and her mother chick. What they did see is a woman's silhouette with this flowing hair, and some people even saw an ear, which I thought, oh, okay, that's interesting. But it's not about me, right? I know it's an emperor and her chick, but if other people are seeing a woman with flowing hair or an ear, then we need to change that. We need to change that perception that we're not a hearing aid clinic or whatever. And so we went back to the drawing board and we have refined our logo to make it more distinct and more clear that it is an emperor penguin and her baby chick. So stay tuned, you'll see more of that. But that's what I'm talking about, so you have to actually implement the changes that that you have determined need to happen. So your logo, your website is your primary marketing piece. It's the main place that people go to check you out and determine whether or not they want to do business with you. So your website has to portray the right message to the right people. And all of this work that we just did about brand positioning has to get translated into your website. And then you've got all of your marketing materials, your business card, your flyers, your posters, your handout cards, your social media banners, anything that you use for marketing materials, your marketing collateral needs to be looked at. Is this in alignment with my brand positioning? Is it giving the right messaging? Is it consistent? Does it look like this? If I looked at a business card and I looked at a website, am I going to know that those two belong to the same business without needing to look at the logo? So important that brand consistency is in place, that you don't go and create something completely different with different colors and imagery and expect people to recognize that that's your business. And then refresh all of your brand messaging as well, and using the images that you use on social media and the messages that you type on social media. All of that is your brand. It's all promoting your brand, and you're creating that brand messaging. So you want to avoid misconceptions about who you are and what it is that you serve, who it is that you serve, and what it is that you offer. You want to make sure that you are saying the right messaging that will appeal to your ideal target market, right? So that's your 6 steps on creating your brand positioning and developing a really firm, strong brand for your business. I do encourage you to use someone like us at eVision Media. We're a full service brand marketing and website agency where we take into consideration all of these things that we're talking about in our marketing plan and our brand positioning. We don't just develop websites, or we don't just purchase a WordPress theme and call it a day. All of that thought and strategy goes into creating your brand presence for your brand messaging for your ideal clients. And so let us help you with that analysis and implement any necessary changes that do need to happen, either if you're just starting out or if it's time to make that shift and things aren't working, things have shifted and evolved too much, and you need to kind of do a reset and look at everything again, just like what we're doing at eVision Media. We're resetting and recreating our brand positioning so that it's stronger and appeals to the right people. And so give me a call, evisionmedia.ca, if that's something that interests you, to help you either with the mentoring or figuring out what your brand positioning is. Your marketing message will end up becoming much clearer, and it will avoid confusion. You will end up attracting your ideal target market much easier if you go through this process. Your conversions will increase on your website. You'll have the right marketing message for the right people. Therefore, it'll be a much easier process to convince them to hire you or buy what it is that you're offering. Your business will thrive. It will end up becoming a much more sustainable and profitable business for you. And again, as long as you stay consistent and on point, don't go off on all these different tangents and get your personal preferences in play. You'll always have to be thinking about your business and your brand. So if there's any questions about your brand positioning, let me know. Thank you so much for coming up and showing up. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for coming in. And so I'll see you next time in a couple of weeks. I'm going to keep on with this, on this track about talking about marketing plans and the different components that you need to pay attention to in your marketing plan. So stay tuned. So I'll talk to you next time. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye for now.